Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. This time I'm joined by the brand new, very green Ford Puma ST. So as always, I will take you around the car, talk you through the specification and give you my first impressions. So here we go, the Puma ST looking very resplendent in the optional mean green paintwork, which is only available for the ST variant. And I know the looks have been a little bit divisive. Most of that is to do with the front end, and don't get me wrong, I'm still not that keen on it, but I must admit, in this ST guys, with the front splitter and the black gloss detailing, it does look better, although it still looks a bit too happy. It looks like Freddo on acid, if you ask me. But anyway, that aside, I think this is a very good looking car. Now this is of course the bigger brother to the very talented Fiesta ST, therefore it has the same running gear. So you have the same 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. You have a front wheel drive, you have 200 horsepower. You do have a bit more torque because of the extra weight. This weighs around 100 kilograms more than the Fiesta. So instead of 290 Newton meters, you are now treated to 320. This is a little bit slower compared to the Fiesta because of course the extra weight and the fact that it isn't as aerodynamic. So this will take 6.7 seconds to hit 62 miles per hour, and the top speed is 137 miles per hour, of course. Now in regard to price, this starts at around £29,000, give or take, but the car you see here does have a few options, so it is sitting a little under £31,000. More specifically, that is £30,935. Of course, the mean green paintwork is optional. If I bring you to the rear of the car, hopefully I'll be able to show you the hands-free tailgate. Normally it works first time. Give it another go. Oh, come on Puma, you're making me look like an idiot, which I know isn't always that difficult. There we go, third time lucky. So whilst I'm here, I may as well talk you through the boot. As always, it has got my filming equipment in it, but I will of course cut to a clip where the boot is empty. The boot floor is adjustable to give you better versatility, and it offers 456 litres, and you also have the innovative Ford Mega Box, which is underneath the boot floor and provides 80 litres. Now the idea of the Mega Box is you can store taller items such as golf clubs, or you can store dirty items in there. The Mega Box itself is rinsable, it has a plug in it, so you can even fill it up. So if you wanted to, on a nice summer's day like this, you can fill it up with ice and put some beers in there, but make sure you have a designated driver, of course. If you want more space, you can of course fold down the 60/40 rear seats to give you a little over 1,200 litres, if I'm not mistaken. You've got a 12-volt socket to the right hand side and also a hook either side, so you can hang up some shopping or perhaps some clothing. Now this has got a rather unusual parcel, I'm going to say parcel, oh my god, I can't get my words out. Parcel shelf, there we go, got there eventually. So it does look quite flimsy. It looks like they've just used an offcut of some random neoprene that was just floating about, but there is method behind this madness. The idea is that because it's soft and flexible, it can wrap around and mold around bulkier items in the boot. And of course, well, I suppose to another degree, it saves weight and probably cost, but I know that isn't to everyone's taste. So I do think it is a little bit of a good idea in my opinion, but of course that is my opinion. Now you don't get a spare wheel as standard, of course, because you have the Ford Mega Box, and there will be some people watching that will say, oh well, why have a Ford Mega Box when you have a spare wheel? But come on guys, how many new cars nowadays come with spare wheels? It isn't many, let's face it. So let's close the tailgate down. Yes, there we go, first time. Thank you, Puma. One thing I love about the ST is you get black badging on the rear, and of course you get the ST badge as well to remind you this is something a little bit more spicy. You get 19-inch alloys as standard, which I think look fantastic, and better still, shod around them are Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres. The Ford Performance team are not mucking about when it comes to their choice of rubber, so I salute you. I take my hat off to you if I were wearing one. I think that is a very wise choice of tyre, so that gets a big thumbs up from me. Well done Ford UK, and well done Ford Performance. Got more gloss black detailing on the side. Got a black roof and black wing mirrors. Now, other YouTubers have said it, and I'm going to say it as well. I am a little bit disappointed that the rear diffuser, or I suppose it's more of a faux diffuser, I'm not too sure if it actually does provide any downforce, but it's more in a kind of black plastic cladding as opposed to the gloss black. Now, my theory is that Ford UK has done this to A, save cost, and B, perhaps they are scared that you might scuff it, and this will be a bit more hard wearing compared to gloss black plastic. I don't know, I could be totally wrong. As you can see, you do have a double exhaust pipe on the right hand side. I'm not too sure how I feel about that insert. As you can see, it looks as if, so you've got the exhaust on that side, but on that side it looks like the Ford designer's just got a little bit lazy. It looks like it was originally designed to have 4 exhaust pipes, and then at the last minute the bean counters went, no, that's too much money, you'll have to just stick with 2 exhausts. Again, that is a theory, I could be completely wrong. Now, speaking of things that should be gloss black, in my opinion, if I take you around to the front, you have this very fetching Ford Performance front splitter, and as you can see, it even says Ford Performance on it. But again, that's not in gloss black, which may disappoint some. On the topic of the splitter, Ford claims this splitter, excuse me, provides 80% extra downforce compared to a standard Puma. That does seem like a bold claim, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm sure Ford wouldn't lie, but it's not exactly that chunky, but if that's what Ford says, that's what they say. Speaking of stats and nerdy facts, the torsion beam at the rear is 40% stiffer compared to the Fiesta ST to deal with the extra weight and of course the higher centre of gravity. The steering is faster compared to a standard Puma, and the brakes are larger. I think if I get this right, the steering is 25% faster and the brakes are 17% larger, but I may have got that the wrong way around. If so, I will correct myself with a subtitle. Now, I've mentioned the price. What do you get as standard? So you get the 19-inch alloys, you get LED headlights, you get the ST styling, the gloss black detailing and so forth. Let me take you inside the car. Get keyless entry as standard, so it should open. There we go. Open sesame. Nice little Ford Performance scuff plate. ST mats. You've got sports pedals as well. One standout feature, oh wow, that's overexposed. One standout feature for me is, are these Recaro sports seats. They are fantastic. They are the same seats you would get in the Fiesta ST. I can only apologise about the lighting. It is very bright out here, and this is a very dark cabin. But yes, hopefully you can see the seats. You've got ST badging on them and also Recaro badging. And guys, these are wonderful. They are as supportive as they are comfortable. In fact, let me take a seat. Now, of course, with this being a crossover, you are sat higher compared to the Fiesta ST. Let's turn on the ignition. It may not come on. Oh, find out. That was the radio. Got an 8-inch touchscreen with navigation, DAB radio, Bluetooth, and smartphone connectivity. But yes, as I was saying, the driver's seat can be sat relatively low for a crossover, but of course, if you want to have a more commanding driving position, you can, of course, pump it up. In fact, I'm sat right on the deck pretty much, so just pumping it up now. As you can probably guess, this hasn't got electric adjustment. So as you can see, now I've got I've got a better view of the bonnet. I can see more of the outside of the car. But if I turn you guys around, you will see my 6'2" frame is, well, you can't really see, the lighting is awful. But as you can see, my my hair is almost touching the roof lining. So this is not the driving setup for me. So down I go. There we go, a nice little workout there. So let me take you off my little tripod, guys, so I've got better flexibility. So the cabin, I think, is a nice place to be. Don't get me wrong, there are some areas where the build quality is questionable. So, for example, this centre armrest, that's got a lot of flex in it. Okay, I'm manhandling it a little bit, but even so, yeah, that to me does not scream quality. Also, if I'm going to be picky, I would prefer the armrest to be longer. For my driving setup, when I go to put my elbow down, I miss it. So this isn't adjustable. But on the plus side, you do get some storage underneath. You have a little tray where I've got some keys. If you're wondering why it says Patsy, these are actually my wife's keys. take them out. You've got a tray in there, and you've got more storage in there, a pen holder and a USB port, which eagle-eyed viewers may have spotted is actually a Type-C to make the car a bit more future-proof. Whilst I'm speaking about practicality, you've got, oh, for Pete's sake, close. There we go. You've got 3 cup holders in the middle. You've got a diddy one in the middle where you can pop a Red Bull or any other small energy drink. As standard, you get a wireless phone charging pad, which is great, and even better, as you can see, it's slanted. So when you put your mobile phone in here, when you're driving more exuberantly, let's say, your phone isn't going to fall out and end up in one of the footwells. And you've also got a bit of rubber in there to help grip your phone in place. My only gripe is that when you've got it plugged into the USB, for my phone, which is a Galaxy S10, I know I'm behind the times, I really need to upgrade. When it's plugged into the USB, it won't sit in this pocket because the lead gets in the way. But to be honest, I can say that complaint about many cars, so that isn't exclusive to the Puma ST. You've also got a 12-volt socket. You've got a little slot here where I normally like to put the key. I don't really know what else it is designed for. The door bins are of a good size. As you can see, I can fit in a medium-sized bottle, and I've got a little bit of space left over for a few snacks. I was going to say some loose change, but that'd be silly because it just rattle about whilst you're driving. No sunglasses holder, which is a tad disappointing, but not the end of the world. And of course, you do get a glove box, which offers a decent amount of space. And you also get a dedicated shelf for the owner's manual. Very good thinking, Ford. Oh, this car, as an optional extra, also has the driver assistance pack, meaning I get features such as blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. I also get front parking sensors, and I also get a reversing camera, as you can see. And it gives you a few other things as well, such as adaptive cruise control. Of course, I have automatic lights and wipers as standard. Well, the lights are automatic. Not too sure if it's got automatic wipers actually, but anyway, I'll move on. You've got climate control as well as standard, heated front seats and a heated steering wheel. So the specification is pretty good. There isn't really that much else you'll need. I've also got the park assist as well, which I forgot to mention. That is part of the driver assistance pack. So what options do you have? So you've got paint. Oh, this also has the performance pack as well, which I almost forgot to mention, which seems silly, but I will get onto that in a bit. So yes, actually, I do have the spec sheet in here. So yeah, you've got the mean green paintwork, the hands-free power tailgate, and the driver assistance pack. Now, interestingly, this spec sheet does suggest that the performance pack comes as standard. It doesn't. That is a £950 option. Now, in regard to what it gives you a limited slip differential, which I think that alone is worth paying for. You also get shift indicator lights on the dash, and you get launch control as well. Now, you've got a choice of 4 driving modes. You can either go straight into sport by hitting the S button on the steering wheel, or you can hit mode, and obviously you can cycle through your modes. I've not mentioned it yet, but as you can see, you've got this very nice 12.3 digital display, which also comes as standard. So you've got normal mode, you've got sport, and you've got racetrack, which, as you can see, Ford states is for the racetrack only. And for the first time on a Ford performance model, you also get an eco mode, which I'm sure for many of you won't be of much interest, but it is there if you need it. To give you an idea of what MPG I've got on my drive here, which was around 23 miles, I did have around 37 MPG, but I did let the car sit here and idle for a little bit whilst I was doing a few bits. So yes, as you can see, it's on 35.9 MPG. On the combined run, Ford states that you should be getting around 41 MPG, but of course that's with careful driving. I find with the EcoBoost engines, when you drive them hard, the fuel economy can plummet. Now, I know you could say that about any car, but I would say for the Ford performance models, that's a bit more, what's the word? I'd say that is a bit more noticeable. One thing I've got to mention, you also get B&O Play sound system as standard, which from memory features 10 speakers. So as I say, guys, the specification is generous. The driver's seat has got a good level of adjustment, as I demonstrated a few moments ago, but it is all manual. The steering wheel, as you would expect, adjusts for rake and reach like so. Very handy. And getting a good driving setup is very easy. As I've mentioned, these Recaro seats are wonderful. Right, let me step out the car. I know I spoke about the MPG a few moments ago. In regard to the CO2, this emits 155 grams per kilometre, meaning for the first year of VED, you'd be required to pay £155. You get tinted rear windows as well as standard. Now, as always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am, of course, a taller chap. Let me step inside and see how I get on in regard to room. Room in the back of the Puma is okay. I wouldn't say it is particularly ample, but for a short or maybe even a medium journey, if you do happen to be a taller person, you may be okay in the back. Knee room is okay. I've got a little bit left over, whilst the leg room is a bit more agreeable. Now, when I tested the standard version of the Puma, that had a panoramic roof as an optional extra, and as such, the headroom was a little bit tight. Now, as you can see, this car doesn't have that, but it does have black roof lining, so you may find the inside of the Puma a bit dingy, particularly in the back. If I turn you guys around like so, the lighting is awful. I'm really sorry, guys. Headroom is okay. I haven't got much spare, so if you're taller than me, let's say 6'3", 6'4", I think you may struggle, so you'll definitely want to sit in the front passenger seat. But if you are a medium-sized adult, it'll be absolutely fine. Now, I think it would be too much of a squeeze to fit 3 adults in the rear. This is, of course, a crossover, a small SUV. Therefore, I would argue it isn't really designed to carry 3 adults in the back. But if you're more concerned about carrying children, there are, of course, ISOFIX points, as you can see. Now, whilst I'm here, I'm going to do a shameless plug for my merch. I'm wearing one of my Car Obsession t-shirts now. So if you want to check this out, as well as other designs, head over to controlandshift.com. I will pop a link in the video description, and you can buy a very nice Car Obsession t-shirt, maybe for Father's Day, although this video will probably go out after Father's Day, so ignore that. But you can buy one in time for summer. Look at it. It is glorious outside, so bag yourself a t-shirt. Do it now. Anyway, back onto the Puma. The practicality back here is pretty average at best. You do, of course, have a door bin where you can fit in a small bottle. You've got map pockets, a hook either side where you can hang up an item of clothing when my autofocus wants to actually do its job. Come on, autofocus, you've got one job. That'll do. That's good enough. There we go. And you've also got this rather unusual cubby hole down here, which I'm not really too sure what it is designed for. So if you know, guys, please let me know. But I can just about fit my fingers in there. I would say perhaps you can pop some chewing gum in there. But other than that, yeah, that does seem a bit pointless. I'd much rather have a USB port or a 12-volt socket so those in the rear can charge their smartphones whilst on the move. But never mind. There's also no centre armrest. But would I expect one in a car like this? Maybe not. So that isn't a criticism. It's more of a of an observation. Oh, there we go. Now, I know I've spoken about the engine, but I will just show you what it looks like. So I'm sure there may be some of you that may be interested to see. Now, I've not mentioned it actually, but whilst I'm thinking about the engine and thinking about the exhaust, because of course the two are interlinked, the exhaust on the Puma ST is actually around 1 decibel quieter compared to the Fiesta ST, and that is because this car is designed to be a bit more refined. Therefore, you're not really going to want to have a shouty exhaust, although it still can be quite vocal when you want it to be. Having said that, this may be in my imagination, but I do think that the exhaust on the Puma ST, it seems to have less crackles and bangs to it. It seems a little less boisterous. Now, this car is fitted with a petrol particulate filter to help with emissions, but so is the Fiesta ST, so you can't really blame that. Anyway, here is the engine. Like I say, 1.5 litre, 3-cylinder turbocharged unit. The code name for this engine is the Dragon, which I think is quite kind of fitting, being as this is kind of green. You know, dragons can be green, although I would say that this car is more like Kermit meets the Hulk, but anyway, that's just an analogy. Yes, Ford Performance, you've got a nice engine cover there. And yeah, this is a very peppy engine. I think this is a real cracker. Now, of course, there is quite a lot of dispute about the EcoBoost engines online, because people say they're made of chocolate and they call them the EcoBoom, but I think this is a good engine. Now, of course, I know that there are people that have had negative experiences, which is of course unfortunate, because this is a cracking engine. It's just, yeah, like I said, there have been a few issues. Anyway, let me pop the bonnet down, and I think it's time for me to conclude. For once, I've actually been able to do this in one take, which is pretty pleasing. Yeah, I'll give you one more look around the car. The brand new Ford Puma ST, just make sure my microphone isn't rubbing on my t-shirt. I think this is a good looking car. And I'll be honest, there was a part of me that kind of wanted to hate this car, because it's an SUV and the market is flooded with SUVs, and I'll be honest, a part of me did think this was a bit of a, not a marketing gimmick, but just an excuse to make another ST, although I suppose as a petrol head, why would I mind about Ford finding an excuse to make another performance model? So that is a little bit of a silly thing to say. But believe me guys, as you will see in my main review, if that hasn't already been posted, the Puma ST is a cracking car. And if I had the money, I would actually consider one, because I now have a small family, therefore a Fiesta ST would be too small for me. So yeah, very impressive car. Ford UK, you've done well. Yeah, okay, this is a fair bit more money compared to a Fiesta. So if you were to compare this for like, so a 5-door ST3 with the same amount of options to kind of match this specification, this works out at about £3,600 more expensive. But if you were to compare this to a base Ford Fiesta ST, the ST2 with no options, and that works out at about £6,500 more, which is a fair chunk of money, but this is cheaper than a Focus ST, although of course the Focus does have more power. Anyway, I'm babbling as always. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you have any questions or queries, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I will respond as quickly as I can, and I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. So there we have it, guys, the brand new Ford Puma ST. I do hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.